Hello guys, welcome back to the Quickstart AngularJS course. Our application is a single page application now. We can click on the cart button and cart view is displayed without any page refresh. But a cart view is not fully functional yet. So let's code our cart view. We can refer our initial analysis for the cart view. Our cart view is very much similar to the book list view. So we can utilize the template of book list view here with some minor changes. Okay, so you can see I have moved all of the code from the book list view to cart-list HTML file. But we need to do some minor changes in this file. Let's do that together. Let's add a paragraph with instruction to start with. Next change that we need to do is in the ngRepeat attribute. If we refer to our initial analysis, the model for this view is not books, but it's cart. So replace that model with a cart. We don't need to change book with something else as cart is going to contain books only. Next, we need to do changes in this button. Let's replace the button label from add to cart to buy and ngClick function name to buy. Lastly, let's remove this form code from here. Search is not at all required for this view. Next step, the controller. Let's open the app.js file and add controller property in the configuration block of cart route. Okay, so we have a controller called cart-list-controller. Keeping controller in a config is a good practice than to keep it in the view. Let's code the controller and we know how to do that, right? Using the controller function. Okay, so the first parameter is a controller name, cart-list-controller, and second parameter, the controller constructor function with $scope as a dependency. Next is to define our cart model and the business logic for the buy button. Okay, so we have defined the model cart and the function for the buy button which logs the book user wants to buy. Okay, so let's run it in the browser. Move to the cart view. We can see we don't have any books in the cart as our model cart is blank. Now we have a problem here. Can you notice that? When we click on the add to cart button, we need to add the clicked book in the cart model. And the cart model is a part of cart list controller. So we don't have access to the cart model inside our book list controller. Okay, why it is? When the controller is created, it creates a scope object and that scope object is local to that view. So we can say this $scope object is a local variable inside this controller function. That's why when the book list controller is created, it has created the scope object local to that controller. Same thing is happening with our cart list controller $scope object. So both the scope object are kind of local variable inside those controllers. Hence, they are not accessible to each other. One solution to this problem is to move all the data in the global scope. And we have global scope object called the $root scope object. But keeping all the data in global scope doesn't seem a good idea to me. So we need to think of a different solution here. Let's try to look at this problem with a different way. We know very well now, we have to provide this model values, books and cart from outside of controller. So we can say our book list controller has a dependency on book model. Also, the business logic of adding book to the cart can be taken out of the controller. Similarly, cart list controller has a dependency on a cart model and buying a book business logic can be taken out, right? If we can move this model values and the business logic, modifying these models outside controllers and keep them as separate object so that it can be injected wherever required, will definitely solve our problem. And Angular helps us in doing that very well. So let's conclude this lecture here and continue to work on taking out these dependencies from controller in the next lecture. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture.